Hi, I'm Raquel DuBoulay-Chastanet, and this is my OMG interview. I grew up in St. Lucia. My family is one of the oldest French families on the island. We've been around for a very, very long time. We had a fantastic childhood. We grew up with two loving parents, but parents who had a very strong sense of social responsibility. So there was always a sense as children that we had to give back. And I think all of my brothers and sisters still feel that same way. We all feel a sense of, I think, duty to leaving St. Lucia better than we found it. And it's something that as parents now we try to instill in our children as well. My mother is English. She moved to St. Lucia when she was about 16. Her parents had got divorced. She came out to St. Lucia as a young girl, met my dad, and the rest, as they say, is history. As I said, my dad's family is one of the oldest families, French families on the island. They met, fell in love, and very shortly thereafter had four of us. And you know, they're both very heavily involved in doing charity work on the island. They support a number of causes. My mum a little bit more publicly than my dad, but they both do a great deal. They sponsor a lot of young people in terms of sporting activities and charitable endeavors. So it's something that I think my two brothers and my sister and myself all feel very passionately about. So we try to help whatever causes we can and as many people as we can. No, I'm very blessed, I think, to live in an island like St. Lucia. It's not something we ever grew up with. I know there are some other islands that deal with those ongoing tensions. It's not an issue we have ever faced in St. Lucia growing up. I think people have never made fun of my complexion and certainly not the other way around. I think it's one of the few islands in the Caribbean where I can truly say racism has never been an issue. I think when Alan entered the political arena, it was the first time I think somebody of his complexion had done that. And there were some calls, there were some comments. I think it was vastly in the minority, thank God, and ultimately it seemed to have not played a role in any way, because obviously he was elected with a fairly overwhelming mandate. But I continue to be proud of the fact that St. Lucia is not an issue where race plays any sort of a fundamental role in any way. I currently have a law practice in St. Lucia, which I've had for the last 15 years. But I've been practicing for about 21 years, all said and done. I think if I had to coin a motto for myself, it would be don't take yourself too seriously and don't take life too seriously. I think you always have to find the humor in everything. I love laughing. I'm a real giggler, and I just love a sense of humor in everything. And I think no matter what the circumstances or how dire the day is, I can always find something to laugh about. And I think definitely if you don't have that, I don't know how one survives the rigors of politics, because it's not easy. It's primarily changed because I think you're a little bit more visible and you have to be a little bit more aware of where you go, what you say, a little more circumspect in behavior in general, which is always an adjustment for, I think, any private citizen who becomes a public citizen. Life has definitely got busier. I have a full-time law practice which I work at during the day, and very often in the evenings there are public engagements to attend. Weekends tend to be spent, again, performing public functions and attending public engagements. So there is significantly less downtime now than there was prior to June 2016. Again, I consider myself really blessed. I don't think I could ask for a better husband. We've been together now for 27 and a half years. And he has always treated me with respect. He supports anything that I ever decide I want to do. He's always the first person there behind me, holding my hand and encouraging me. He's the most positive person I've ever met. He's always a glass is half full sort of guy. And no matter what sort of day I have, he can always find something to say to me to make it better. If there's a rough day or some difficult challenge and I go, God, honey, you know, so-and-so, he goes, look, what you need to do is look at it this way. And then I go, yeah, you know, you're right. He only ever sees the good, I think, in people. In politics, I think you can't be naive. I think you have to be aware that there are people around you. And obviously, you know, in life you have opposition, you have people who want your position, and you have to always be, or try to be, one step ahead. You certainly have to be aware that there are people with motives that may not be in your interest around you. But at the end of the day, I think he is somebody who always sees the best. He always sees a way forward. He's always looking at what's best for St. Lucia. He's always looking at, you know, what's best for people that he cares about. And he doesn't allow darkness and negativity to ever take hold or to take root. So he is probably the most inspiring person that you could hope to be married to and to live with, because he just lifts people all the time, and he lifts me all the time. Not that I'm a person I think that needs much lifting, but when I do, it's nice to know that you have that support and encouragement there. I mean, I can't speak for others. I mean, I think for me, I miss private time. I miss being able to just, go somewhere alone with him and not have people come up who want to take selfies with him, who want to talk to him. And I think he feels very privileged that people want to do that, and I think so do I, and I can appreciate that. But there's sometimes you just want to go out, kick back, have a good time, not have any security with you, and just kind of be yourselves. And St. Lucia people don't really care about, people are not starstruck, so there's no paparazzi, people don't care, there's no pressure as to what you're wearing and things like that. But certainly people, when they do see him out, as I would imagine it's the same anywhere else, they want to take pictures with the PM and sometimes with the PM's wife. I think sometimes I just miss being, ordinary Joe Blow, being able to just grab his hand and go walking down the beach or walk somewhere alone and not have any interruptions. I think the idea of a date night is just out the window entirely. But I think that's the only thing really. Well, that's the big thing. I love the fact that people can be who they are. I love the fact that people are very genuine. The average St. Lucian will literally give you the shirt off their back. People still, I think, genuinely care about each other. I mean, when you meet an average St. Lucian, they don't want to take you to a restaurant. They want you to come to their home, and they will give you the best of whatever they have. I mean, I was speaking to someone recently because Alan and I spend time in his constituency, which is a rural constituency toward the end of the island. And I mean, we met a lady the other day. She was, I think, 92 or 94, and she invited us to have lunch. And she lives in a very small house, as I said, in a rural constituency. But I have not been to anyone's home. I mean, it doesn't matter how much money they have and how well they've entertained us, where we've been made to feel more special or more honored. I mean, they had 2 chairs set aside for us in a main position in the house, as small as it was, and you're like sitting outside under a tree, and they put on a spread of about 20 different types of food. And these are people, I think, that can scarce afford it. But they wanted to put on a welcoming meal, and they wanted to host us. And all the people, the family came round, and it was probably about 40 of them. But they made us feel so welcome, and they were so hospitable, and it couldn't have been a more special or meaningful afternoon. And I think that island-wide, that is the average St. Lucian way. And I think most people that you meet anywhere in the world, when you say you're from St. Lucia, they go, oh my God, the people there are so hospitable, they're so genuine. And that's something that I haven't seen starting to change yet. So I'm really proud about that fact. I think St. Lucians genuinely are very kind, very hospitable, very welcoming, and very warm people. I think just to leave things in a little bit better than I found them. So there isn't a position of First Lady in our country. There is no defined role. There's no expectation that you're expected to do X, Y, or Z. I think the only thing is people like to see you go to events and look good. But people have not traditionally expected someone in my position to do anything with a position. So I've really tried to sort of pick up causes that no one has paid any level of attention to in the past, but causes that I think are critical, because I don't think it's fair that you can expect justice and law and order if you don't pay attention to the people who are there to preserve law and order. So for me, I would just like to leave the few causes I've taken up in a little bit of a better position than I found it. And I think hopefully to make a little bit something more of the position so that future holders of the quote-unquote First Lady position can equally use that position for public good life. Just being able to wake up every day, because I think the older you get, the more people you read about or who aren't around. And I think every day I wake up, I can get out of bed, I'm grateful. The truth of it is we are obviously stronger if we're united. And I think, CARICOM was formed with that in mind, that we would all come together as one group to lobby the world for whatever our interests and our causes are. And I think that, in recent years, we certainly seem to be drifting more towards an individualistic approach. And we're certainly going to be weaker when we're negotiating with these blocs and these organizations and these countries, these first world countries, on our own. So I would like to see that there's more collectivism. I would like to see a collective approach to all issues, because I think we are stronger as one. I mean, I think I would love to see a Caribbean fashion industry. so you can pull the best of each island and you present to the world as the best of the Caribbean. I think it's easier to get funding, it's easier to get support, it's easier to get other creative minds on board when you come together as one block. I would love to see us, collaborate politically as a region and stop all these individual deals for each of the islands. I think we weaken ourselves, and I think we weaken our chances for future prosperity, for sure. There is actually a great deal happening in St. Lucia at the moment. The island is really experiencing an investment boom at the moment. There are a number of new projects, hotels coming on stream, and I don't really want to sound as like the Prime Minister's wife here, but it's a very exciting time to invest in St. Lucia. It's a very exciting time to visit. For myself personally, we have a fantastic event coming up in the next 2 months. We have the ball, the Prime Minister's Ball coming up, which really has become the must-attend event on the social calendar in St. Lucia, not just for St. Lucians, but for many people around the region. The International Women's Day event is coming up, which is going to be on March 8th, which is a very big fashion parade. It's called Pretty in Pink with a Hat. So there's a lot of exciting events coming up, and it's a very, very good time to visit. The International Horse Race is going to be held, the first International Horse Race is going to be held on the 13th of December, which is also going to be the official end of our 40th anniversary of independence. The international sporting media is going to be coming down for that, and again, it's going to be a very big fashion parade. So, ladies who'd like to come, get your hats ready. I'd like to thank everyone very sincerely for watching my first OMG interview. It's been a great honor and pleasure, and thank you for being a part of this.